Welcome to On Thick Ice, a podcast about navigating relationship intricacies by two people who are just trying to make one work. I'm Emily.
And I'm John. Each week, we'll be tackling the pressing issues we all face in our relationships but rarely address head on.
So, today we're going to be talking about changing one's appearance. Is it something that you need to consult with your partner about, or is it my body, my choice? Does your spouse need to know about your subtle nips and tucks? Is a haircut worth risking your marriage over? Or is extreme body modification the thing that brings you together? We're going to get into it all, including the love life of a guy with 481 piercings, and we'll explore just how many of those are on his dick.
That sounds like fun.
It's going to be a great time, John, let me tell you. So, I went into this, I kind of broke it down into categories, and I started with what I thought was going to be the easiest thing, the most, least amount of problems, and worked my way up. Kind of didn't work out that way, though. So let's talk about hair. Getting a haircut. Dyeing your hair. Shaving your head. Shaving your beard. Shaving your pubes.
Well, these are all very big decisions.
They are.
Yes.
But are they personal decisions? Or are they a decision you need to make together?
I guess that depends on who you are.
All right.
And what boundaries you set when you started.
So I'm going to tell you a story that I found on Reddit to kind of give you an idea of what we're dealing with here, okay? I cut my hair and we almost got a divorce. Am I in the wrong here? So TLDR, she's in therapy for being a people pleaser.
Yep.
Part of her work in therapy is to do stuff for herself.
Mm-hmm.
One thing she's always wanted to do is shave her head. So she decides to do it. She does tell her husband. He does ask her not to. But she explains all the reasons that she wants to do it and does it anyway, asking him to respect her decision. Then he decides he's pissed, he's not going to talk to her, he's going to take out his feelings on their kid, and only starts talking to her again when she agrees that she's never going to do it again, and tells her if she does it again, she'll be sorry. How do we feel? Is she overreacting, or is he in the wrong?
I mean, it's tough.
Right.
It is tough. It's, because she did consult him. He did say, I'm not going to dig this. But she also has a lot of personal baggage that it sounds like she's dealing with. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
to me, it's less about the haircut and more of him like acting like she did something specifically to him by shaving her head. Like it was something irreversible that she did to piss him off rather than something that she did for herself. Like, why are you, as however old he is, 36-year-old man, not talking to your wife over hair that will grow back?
Yeah, I mean, I get that part, but when it comes down to it, we know nothing about said man. He could be dealing with
Okay.
certain things
That's
that
fair.
we don't know about.
Right.
We only know her side of the story.
Okay.
So there is that. So what sucks about these things is it's just so hard to have an opinion when you aren't them.
So what if I shave my head? Like, what if I decided I wanted to shave my head?
I mean, I would be on board with it, I guess.
Yeah. If I shaved my head and I didn't ask you, how would you feel about that? Like, if I just went to my hair appointment, came back, and was like, it's gone, bye-bye.
I mean, I'd be shocked. Would I love it? Probably not at first.
Right.
Would I not speak to you? No. Would I possibly wear more sunscreen when we go on our walks? There's a good chance.
But would you be upset that I didn't consult with you? Would you feel like you were left out of the conversation?
I mean, it's not my hair, so no.
Right.
I
Right.
really wouldn't. I mean, like I said, I would be shocked, but
Because that's kind of how I feel. Because honestly, we've had some very serious discussions about your hair in particular. You've had pretty much the same hair the entire time we've been together, and I really like your hair. But you've had different hair in the past that I cannot picture you with. I don't want to see pictures of. I don't like the pictures that I've seen. I think I've made it very well known that if you were to grow your hair back out again or shave it all off, that I wouldn't like it very much. But like, would that stop you? Would it piss me off?
I wouldn't do it if you didn't want me to.
Right.
No, because I have a certain level of understanding that it takes two to tango, if you will. So if I just decided to change the rules by myself and you didn't like it, then I probably deserved it.
I'm just picturing you with, like, you right now with your gray hair, just, like, long down to your butt.
That would be dope, man.
It would be. Would you let me braid it?
Actually, no, I would not let you braid it.
No.
No, I would
Dang.
not. I would not do that because it's going to change the chemistry of my hair, or not the chemistry, the molecular structure of my hair.
A braid is gonna not. I'm not talking dreadlocks.
No, but it does, like it'll, when you take it out, like you'll still have the waves, and I don't like that.
You gotta wash it.
I don't like that.
Oh my god. Okay, so we're agreed. You're not gonna be growing your hair back out.
I don't know.
I think it might cause a fight. I don't know if I can't braid it. If I can't braid it like a horse's tail, I don't know if I like it.
So we're talking about you going bald and me going long. So, let's just kind of look at the facts, right? So if we're thinking about you going bald, right?
Okay.
Pros and cons, okay? Well, not you going bald, you
Shaving my head.
yes, that.
There's a big difference.
Two different things. Yes. Thank God either of us have that problem.
For now.
There it is. So you shaving your head. So we save money on haircuts,
Right.
right? I say we save money, but let's just assume that money's probably going to find a new way of escaping. So did we save money? Who knows? You would have no bad hair days.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's very true.
Less maintenance. But here's the thing, right? So it already takes me longer to get ready than you.
Yes, it does.
So if you got rid of your hair, that would amplify the amount of time that I would
spend waiting on you.
getting ready. Yeah, right. So how would I feel about it from a physical perspective? Whatever. But you're gonna make me feel like a piece of shit.
Not intentionally.
But-
Maybe passive aggressively.
Oh no, you would love this. You would dig this.
I would hold
so
it
much.
over your head like
You
nobody's
sure
business.
as hell would. So I think beyond the emotional anguish that I would have to deal with if you shaved your head, I think I'd be okay with it.
Okay.
Me going long again, however, I hated that.
Right.
Oh my God, it was so much work.
Yeah.
I did not like it. I don't think that ever has to happen.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Well, what about hair dye? Because I'm just thinking, like, obviously I dye my hair, right? Like, and I personally, for me, I don't think that I would, because we just talk about stuff, but I don't feel like I would need to consult you if I wanted to dye my hair a different color. Like, if I wanted to, like, surprise you or something, like, I wouldn't feel guilty about not telling you. But that's kind of making me feel a little bit like a hypocrite, because I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, or not put myself in your shoes, flip the script. I love your hair, and the grayer it gets, the more I love it. And I know that there might come a time, I'm not saying it will, but there might come a time where it makes you insecure, and you might decide that you want to dye it. I don't know if I would be okay with that. So that makes me kind of a hypocrite. Like, if you came home one day with jet black hair, I might be a little pissed off. You know, is that a double standard? Because, like, I'm a woman and I'm expected to dye my hair?
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily a double standard, but I definitely feel the hypocrisy.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm acknowledging it.
Yeah.
I know for sure that that's not right. And that's why I've been trying to think of things from both sides.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of this gets misinterpreted when we're talking about change and so on and so forth. You really think about how you feel about it,
Yeah.
and you really don't think about how you would feel if your partner did that to you.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah, that really changes the dynamic, because I feel like a lot of people would have the same would encounter the same reality that you just did. You know, yes, is my own selfish intent worth more than your emotional stability?
Right. Oh, my emotional instability is what we should call it.
There you go.
Okay, so I'm going to call it on hair on your head. I think that, you know, I used that guy in the beginning as an example, and obviously we don't know everything about him or whatever, but I think that he was definitely overreacting, because just in general, hair is hair. It whatever change happens, it can come back. It's not permanent. And as much as you can have a say, it's just hair. Like, it can always be changed.
Yes.
So that's how I feel about hair on your head. Okay, so then you have the topic of facial hair, right? It can be very contentious. You either love facial hair or you hate it, whether you love having it or you love when your partner has it or you hate it, whatever. I don't personally really have strong feelings about facial hair, but the late great Alex Trebek, his wife liked him clean shaven. He loved his beard, and he famously said, "If your wife prefers you clean shaven, ditch the beard, even if you love it." And that's what resonates with me about facial hair.
Probably really good advice, but
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that this is needing a little bit of an adjustment here.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
So possibly let's reword it. So
Mm-hmm.
if your wife prefers you clean shaven and you aren't seeking a divorce, ditch the beard. But if you are seeking a divorce, I mean, go for it. Go ham. Grizzly Adams that bitch.
I'll take a failed marriages for 500, Alex.
What is divorce?
Poor Mr. Trebek is just rolling in his grave right now.
I don't know. He might not be.
He might be on board with us. R.I.P. Trebek, you want to love this podcast?
So yeah, all jokes aside, I mean, let's just be 100% transparent here. Beards need to be kept clean, period.
Yeah.
If your wife loves you, guys, she will not allow you to walk out into public with a frumpy ass face mop. All right?
Ain't that the truth? And also, if your wife loves you, she's not going to let you go out with those eyebrows that touch the top of your forehead, okay? Every time I see a man whose eyebrows are grazing his hairline, I know that nobody loves him. And I feel very sorry for him.
Yeah, and I don't think I've actually seen people the same since you started telling me this.
Since I pointed it out.
Yeah. Like I
What
see
would you do without me?
these guys with like freaking hedges that haven't been trimmed in years on their face. And I'm just like, God, are you single?
And those errant ear hairs that just, they just poke out. And you're like, how do you not see that when you look in the mirror?
I don't notice those either. Now I'm going to start noticing that shit.
Yes.
All right. So, facial hair,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
We have a little bit of a dilemma here.
All right.
All right. I ran across something that I didn't know was a thing until today,
Okay.
but I'm glad I found it
Okay.
because it's very fitting.
Okay.
I'm probably going to botch this, but paganophobia? Paganophobia? So, paganophobia is the severe fear of beards, but can also include mustaches, goatees, and other types of facial hair. So, you, for instance, have this for pedophile mustaches,
Yes, I do.
right?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So,
I have a personal vendetta against mustaches.
so this adds some complexity to the situation.
Okay. Yes.
So, if your partner
Mhm.
had this issue
Mhm.
with facial hair,
Mhm.
well, I guess, yeah, I guess that goes both ways in some cases.
Yeah.
But if they asked you to get rid of your facial hair because they had this,
Mhm.
how would you deal with that?
Oh, gosh.
I
You
mean,
know-
obviously you started with no facial hair because you wouldn't be having this conversation. But
Right. I think it kind of takes me back to when we were talking about what to eat for dinner in that episode. And you have that misophonia thing. Like, you can't stand the sound of people chewing. And I feel like I go to great lengths to avoid triggering that. Whether you like it or not, you have to respect the other it's a boundary at that point. Like, if it's to the point where it has a scientific name, it's a boundary and you got to respect it. I don't like that I don't feel comfortable eating without background noise, but I do it because it makes you comfortable. If I had an extreme fear of beards and you didn't shave, I would feel disrespected in that boundary. You know what I mean?
and scared.
Very
I wonder how that deals with like 5 o'clock shadows and stuff like that. Like
yeah.
how
do you go about that? Because it does grow back.
So considering your newfound phobia, why don't you approach your next topic?
Well, okay, fair enough. Now that I put this boundary on it, I'm not really sure how I feel anymore. But I was trying to think of it in a different way. So, like, if I were to grow a beard, like if I It could happen, you know. I have facial hair. It's peach fuzz. It could turn into a full beard one day. And I decided that I didn't want to deal with the hassle of shaving it, and you weren't okay with that. That would probably piss me off, because I don't want to have that added extra step of dealing with my facial hair. That means that I have to, if you want to have facial hair, don't I kind of have to accept that? Because if the tables were turned, I wouldn't want to deal with mine, whether you liked it or not, right?
I feel like facial hair on women had a really rocky start.
Yeah.
Right. So you had like the whole bearded lady thing.
Right.
That's what I think of when I think of women with beards. So, you know, it's kind of hard for me to get past that. So I think that like the initial like entry to, I don't really know because, well, okay. So let's take a step back here.
Okay.
The first bearded woman, right? She was, what's her name? Annie Jones Elliott, right? At 1866. She was forced into the freak show game at 9 months old because her parents were bringing in $150 a week. She was with P.T. Barnum.
Okay.
In their sideshow. And I think that this like freak show, like bearded lady thing, I think it gave it all like this negative connotation just to begin with. So if that hadn't happened, like where would we be?
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, that's probably tainting it a little bit, just like the thing that comes around it. But at the same time, even though that, you know, she did look like Grizzly Adams and, you know.
Wait, I have a question.
What?
Did she have a beard when she was 9 months old?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's why she was put into, I mean, quote unquote slavery to the freaking circus. Yeah, at 9 months old, her parents like gave her over to P.T. Barnum for that, and yeah, she's kind of just lived through that, and she really didn't like the negative portion of it. But you know, all that said, even though the beard isn't necessarily my thing, it didn't really stop her. She actually got married for the first time in 1881, and she ended up getting rid of that gay 14 years later to get with her high school sweetheart. So
she was a progressive ass bitch.
Right.
Wow.
But at the same time, she had no barriers.
Right.
With her beard.
Right.
And if you saw pictures of this thing, oh my God, it's horrible. I need a raccoon hat just to look at this woman. But it's just not really my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But your point is that the fact that it's not your thing is probably tainted by the fact that there is this connotation around women and facial hair, right?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Kind of like the whole like women who don't shave their armpits or don't shave their legs. AKA me. I never shave my legs.
Yeah. And I mean, not to take this any farther, but I looked at, you know, just this aspect of it. Anyways, just because I was purely fascinated. But yeah, like the armpit thing, that didn't start until like the 20s. Yeah. I don't think.
Right.
When sleeveless dresses.
Yeah. When they wanted to start selling more razors, basically. Yeah.
No, Gillette actually came out with the ad with the woman in the sleeveless dress to sell the first woman's razor.
Right. Exactly.
And then obviously that extended later when the bikini was invented. And then that's where layer 2 came in.
Right.
Now, prior to, actually it was 1915. I'm remembering that now, that the armpit thing happened.
Okay.
Prior to that, it was, gee, I want to say like over 100 years since anything had been done. But like the hair removal on female bodies actually started back in ancient Greece, I think it was.
Okay.
And I don't remember exactly why they did it. There was no like real good reason for it. There was a sanitary thing that was going on, you know, in like the 1700s where people started doing that. But since then, nothing until 1915 when Gillette created the female razor.
Right. All right.
My trivia of the day.
I appreciate that. That was pretty solid. I liked it.
So here's the deal.
Okay.
All right. I will not be growing back my mustache. You will not be growing beards.
Okay.
And if we want to make our lives a little bit easier, let's just both shave our heads. We can be like the Steve Jobs of balding or of balded couples. One less thing.
If Theranos had lasted 2 more years, I think Elizabeth Holmes would have gone full shave her head. She was trying to be Steve Jobs so bad.
I know.
Okay, yes, no mustaches. If you grow the mustache back, you're on my Dunzo list.
And for those of you that haven't watched The Dropout, it's pretty good. Check it out.
It's really good. Yeah. All right, so I mean, you brought it up with the bikinis. There's a whole other patch of hair that we have not touched on yet.
Yes. Yes, there is.
So
It's on my foot. Did you not notice that?
you are so fucking stupid.
I got a fro on my big toe, bro.
Your toe fro.
Did somebody just say merch deal?
Oh God, I'm totally gonna make that.
The toe fro.
The toe fro.
Bam. Our contribution to the world, the toe fro.
Toe fro.
You are welcome, everybody.
Anyway,
Sorry.
what I was trying to get into was pubic hair.
Oh.
Oh, the other white meat.
Hmm.
So this one, I think this is the one piece of hair that I actually do have strong feelings about whether or not the other person gets a say in whether or not you have it, what you do with it, how you groom it, whatever. And we're assuming that everybody is hygienic in this situation, okay? So is it okay for you to ask your partner to change their pubic hair? No, I'm going to answer first.
Okay.
Don't get yourself all ready,
Okay.
because I have my answer. I think that it depends on why. If it's a preference thing or like a fetish thing, whatever, like some people prefer a full bush, some people prefer a landing strip, whatever, those kinds of things, I think it's okay to ask for that, because that's something intimate and sexual, like you're asking for something in a sexual nature, and it's okay to ask for what you want in that situation, as long as you're okay with the fact that they might say no, and that's the bottom line. If it's because you feel like you're flossing every time you go down on him, I think that is a perfectly okay reason to ask him to cut it back, trim it, whatever. Again, you have to be okay with the fact that he might say no, but then he has to be okay with the fact that you don't want to go down on him anymore because your dentist is already on your case enough about flossing.
Well, and you're saving a lot of money on floss.
True. Yeah. Who needs a water pick when you got long pubes?
There it is. You heard it first.
When I don't think it's okay is when you get like kind of the porny aspect of it. Like people who are like, oh, it's gross. You're unhygienic because you're a woman and you have hair down there. I'm a man and you can't even see my dick because my bush is so big, but you're gross because you have hair down there. Like in that situation, get the fuck off of Pornhub and just deal with the fact that you are with an adult. That's how I don't know. I have very strong feelings about that particular one.
I don't know if I have very strong feelings about it. I do like oral pleasures.
Right.
So
I mean, who among us does not?
If you said that you weren't going to do that anymore, then I would probably take action.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Now, here's like and I'm sure you deal with some of this as well in the nether region, if you will. Balls are hard. They're not easy to hair remove.
Yeah.
It's no.
Yeah.
It's just like a brain that has no content. It's not smooth brained at all. It's
gross.
Yes. It's just not fun to do. So I personally have compassion for anybody who keeps very well groomed in that area.
Yeah.
Because me personally, it's an event.
Yeah.
It's an event. I could.
It's a whole thing. You
I
gotta,
could probably sell tickets.
You gotta light a candle. You gotta have a drink.
I won't light candles in the bathroom anymore.
That's a story for another day.
Yep.
But yeah, okay. So that, I think out of all of the 3 hair topics, I think that's the one where I feel like your partner not should, but can have a bigger say in the aesthetics of it, because it is a sexual thing.
I think that you have to approach it that way or be willing to deal with the consequences.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. And I also think that just makes it easier to talk about too, because since it's sexual, it's consent, it's cut and dry, it's yes or no. You can ask for what you want, but you're not guaranteed to get it, and you have to be okay with that.
Yes.
So, who knew pubes were going to be the thing that, going to be the easy one?
That's true, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
You'd think it would be the hair on your head, but really, comes down to it always comes back to the junk.
Yeah, I suppose it does. Now, what do you like designs?
Like vajazzling?
Yeah, landing strips, things like that.
Mhm.
I don't really give a shit.
Yeah, no.
For the most part. I mean, let's be honest with each other. Like, you're already jazzed up
Right.
before you get there.
Right.
So, are you really going to stop?
It's just, it's a target. It's a target.
I mean, literally for men. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
let
Ah.
me read those that identify as men and have tools.
This shit just got so horny.
And on that note, we're going to take a break, folks. We will be back with you by about the time you're done flossing.
All right, so we covered hair. Let's move on to something a little more permanent.
Okay.
Tattoos.
I love tattoos.
I love tattoos too. Tattoos too.
I love tattoos.
Tattoos. I have tattoos. You have.
Big
Is it
tattoo.
Is it tattoos or is it one big tattoo?
Well, if you can't tell, then
Uh-huh.
it's probably just one.
Interesting.
Yes.
You have one tattoo, but you are more inked than I am.
Yes.
Right. I had tattoos before we got together. You got yours. Were we married already?
No, it was before the wedding.
It was before the wedding?
Yeah,
Was it
well,
really?
half of it. Yeah, the shoulder and the chest.
Wow.
Yeah.
That feels like so long ago. Okay, so I have tattoos. You have tattoos. We're obviously okay with tattoos. So when it comes to our opinions on this, I mean, we are okay with tattoos, right?
For the most part.
But not everybody else is.
I think that there's some limitations still, but
Right. So this one, I because my initial thought is I love tattoos. Get all the tattoos. I don't give a shit. I had to dig into the internets a little bit and get into the mindset of someone who maybe doesn't like tattoos, or this is a guy talking about his wife. He said, I went out with my dad's side of the family today for a bit and came home to find out my wife got a tattoo and I have been pissed/upset. I don't mind tattoos, but we have been together for 6 years and she didn't even mention that she wanted one, and I know she wouldn't have gotten one without an appointment, so this was obviously planned. I can't believe she wouldn't tell me something so serious. This is permanent. It's not like I could stop her, but a heads up would have been all that I needed, and I feel betrayed. Am I overreacting? Similar situation to us, except maybe this is her first tattoo. And she just went and got it.
I think we have to assume that.
Right. Yeah. She just went and got it.
Do we know what the tattoo is?
We don't know what the tattoo is. He didn't
Or where
say.
it is?
No, he didn't say any of those
Huh.
things. So this is just like, she got a tattoo and I'm pissed about it. Pissed that she didn't tell me that she was going to do it.
Maybe
Right.
it's her ex-boyfriend's name.
I think if it was her ex-boyfriend's name, he might have included that in the post. But yeah, so I like tattoos. And my initial reaction, like if it was you, I'd be like, cool, go for it. Don't care. Do what you want. It's your body, whatever. But I don't think this guy is overreacting necessarily. I don't think you need your partner's permission, but a tattoo is permanent, and to not even mention it, like, I feel like that says, like, I don't value your opinion. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I see both sides of the story here.
Mhm.
For people who identify as an individual
Mhm.
and who lead their own life, you don't feel like you need to do that. You could be in a situation where you're like, I'm going to go get a tattoo. Woo, I'm going to go do it. And what am I going to do? Call and get a permission slip signed first?
Right.
Like, I mean,
Right.
what do you want me to do here?
Yeah.
So let's say no. But I also see the other side of it. And I mean, I guess it really just boils down to like the roots and the history of the relationship and who these two are. Normally, when you're in a relationship for as long as they've been, 6 years it was, you should have a good idea of what you can and can't get away with.
Right.
So if they've gone this long and haven't identified those boundaries,
Mhm.
then there's something else going on here.
Right,
I
yeah.
personally think.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what I'm saying. It's like when you get to a certain point, there's something underlying
Yeah.
there. You get to a point where it's not about the tattoo anymore.
My initial reaction was, did the tattoo say, I'm going to kill my husband? Or was it like a picture of Steve-O giving you the double thumbs up? Like, for me, it would have to be something like that. Like something really, or like a freaking penis on your cheek, you know, or a swastika or something.
Oh God!
Stupid. Like that's where the line
Full on
starts.
Charles Manson on the forehead.
Right. Like that's where the line's drawn for me.
Right.
Like, yes, I don't care if you go get a tattoo,
Mm-hmm.
but if you come home with like a freaking swastika on your forehead, we're
gonna need to have a conversation.
Right. Like apparently I missed something.
Right. Yeah.
Or I was in a coma.
Right. You're completely, something else is going on there.
Yeah.
That you're not following.
Yeah. So all I can picture right now is just the tattoo that says, I'm gonna kill you. And honestly, like if you came home with that, I would probably laugh my ass off. I probably would.
Okay, so we agree that like it really comes down to if this is a problem, it's probably more than the tattoo, right? There's something else going on, right?
After being together for 6 years,
yeah,
it's either purely defiance, and you know that your significant other hates tattoos or will not like this, or there's just a lot of ignorance.
Right. Okay. So I posed this question on my Instagram stories. I just kind of wanted to know from people if they were willing to share, if they had any like stories about hair, tattoos, whatever, that caused a rift in their relationship or something like that. And someone responded with a story. They asked me to keep it anonymous, but I'm going to read what they wrote to me.
So what was her name?
You almost got me. You son of a bitch.
Nits.
This is what she said. I was with my partner for 4 years, lived together, talked about marriage, etc. I have tattoos, and so did he. I told him I wanted a bigger kind of tattoo on my arm, showed him designs. He came with me to the consultation with the artist and was basically a part of the process. When it was done, I loved it, and I was so excited to show him. He broke up with me pretty much right after I got home to show him because he said he thought about it and he decided he couldn't picture his future wife with tattoos. Okay. It's 2 years later, and I have even more tattoos now, so fuck him. She did everything right. He was a part of the process. She showed him designs along the way. He came with her to the consultation. He knew when she was getting it done. He knew when she was at her appointment. Like, the whole process was laid out there. And then she gets home and he's like, don't want to marry a bitch with tattoos.
This was an assassination.
Yeah.
It was an assassination.
Right.
It was a hand-guided tour to how to end a relationship.
Uh-huh. Yep. He was looking for that one.
Absolutely.
100%.
Dude's a douche. Moving on.
But I'm just saying, like, you can have all the communication in the world, but you still don't know how the other person's going to react to it. You know what I mean? They could be...
That wasn't a reaction.
What I'm saying, he used it as an out. That's still a reaction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It may have been a planned reaction, but it was a reaction.
I'm going to grow my mustache back.
I'm going to kill myself.
No, you just got to get that tattoo.
Okay, so we know how we feel. Personally, we know that if you're having these issues, it's probably not about the tattoo. It's probably about something else. There's only so much you can say about it, but I wanted to read you something a little wholesome. This was a comment under the first story that I told you. For a long time, my mom wanted a tattoo, but she didn't get one because my dad never really liked them. When she turned 50, she and her BFF got a little tipsy at her birthday lunch. They said fuck it and walked down the street to the tattoo parlor and got matching rose tattoos. Very small, very tasteful, on their shoulders. Mom was really nervous to show Dad when she got home based on how he'd said he thought tattoos on women were a bit trashy. Dad takes one look at it, takes a deep breath, and says, "Looks like I've just changed my opinion about women with tattoos."
That's just beautiful.
It's beautiful. And that's the reaction that you have when you have a strong relationship. When you don't have those undertones of shit that you're not talking about. When you don't take everything as an act of defiance against you. When you just love the other person.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're not in love with the skin and the color of the skin, or the color that you add to the skin, or however you want to put that. You're just in love, and you're willing to accept whatever that person has to offer.
Yeah.
It's very cute.
I just thought that was nice. You know, there's so much fighting. But that was, that dad, he's a real OG.
So I don't know why this beautiful, wholesome story that you just shared with me brought this into my head. But So I remember seeing years ago, I don't remember why I was looking at this, how it even landed on my lap, but, this woman got a vampire tattooed on her vagina. So the mouth was the vagina.
Oh, God.
And then the big vampire head on top of it.
Oh, it's like the movie Teeth.
So now I guess you could turn the lights off, but I just don't know how into that I would be if I had to go down on it.
So what happens if you eat garlic? You have garlic pizza and then you get into some sexy time.
Ooh.
Ooh. Repelled like two
Plot
magnets.
thickens. But yeah, no, I'm just honestly, like, I'm thinking about that. I'm like, maybe I would have a problem with that. Like, there's just like, some things you just can't unsee.
It's the nuance.
Right. And like, even if I like didn't go down there personally, like I was just getting a little handsy or something, I'd be afraid he was going to bite my finger.
Like I said, have you ever seen the movie Teeth?
Yeah.
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 Scary shit.
Not okay.
Not okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, obviously there's boundaries, but I guess you really, like, for me, I think you would have to push the boundaries to the extreme to get a reaction out of me. Like a vampire pussy or something. I guess the only other thing, what if I wanted to get my entire body tattooed? How would that settle with you? And it can be pretty stuff. Like, you can pick it.
Including your face?
Yeah.
And
maybe, how about this? I got it. Here's what I'll do. I will get ear hairs tattooed on. Ingrown hairs on my neck.
So it looks like I always have something to pluck?
Yes.
Okay, look. I love you, and you can do what you want. But I'm not going to act like that wouldn't drive me nuts. Not because of the visual aesthetic of it, but because nothing is ever good enough for you. It would never fucking end. You'd be getting your entire body tattooed for the rest of my goddamn life.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God. I would get tattoo removal just so I could get tattooed again.
It would never end.
Yeah.
So, no, I would not like that. I would not enjoy that process.
So it's not about the tattoo.
It's not about the tattoo.
It's about my process.
Yes.
I can respect that.
Okay.
Fair enough. Moving on.
So we're getting... Actually, I thought that this was getting more permanent. It's actually less permanent, but a little more serious, I think. Let's talk about plastic surgery. This is a fun one. I got opinions about plastic surgery. I really do. I have my own feelings about whether or not I would engage in the act. Let's talk about plastic surgery that you get before you're in a relationship. Do you need to disclose that information? So I'm not going to read the whole story because it's a whole big thing, but basically I found this article in the Mirror where this woman, she had a nose job when she was 22. She starts dating this guy 4 years later. They've been together like 6 months, whatever. They haven't been together that long. One of his friends is asking for recommendations for a doctor. And she says, oh, I love the doctor who did my nose job. This is the first time the boyfriend has heard of the nose job. And he gets pissed off about it, right? So, whole big thing. She has plastic surgery before they got together. Hasn't mentioned it. He's pissed when he's pissed when he finds out, right? Okay. This is how I feel about it. I think he is overreacting. Because her argument in this whole thing was that it's only a few months into the relationship, it hadn't come up naturally yet, and she felt like it was weird to, on the first date, be like, oh, by the way, I had a nose job 4 years ago. And I kind of agree with that. Like, especially if it's something that you're doing out of an insecurity thing, which I feel like a lot of plastic surgery is. I can understand not wanting to disclose to a stranger, basically, like, hey, this part of my body didn't always look like this. They haven't been together that long. It came up finally, you know?
What's the point?
What's the point of what?
Why would you need to disclose that?
Right. Exactly.
It's not relevant.
Right. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
So I think that if you have something done before you're together, I don't necessarily think you ever have to tell them. I don't think it's necessary.
I don't think it's owed by any means.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess what really bothers me about this specific story is he was obviously attracted to her.
Right.
So he liked it.
Right.
He just didn't know he liked it.
Right. He didn't like the fact that he didn't know. It makes it feel like it would have made a difference had she still had her old nose, right? Like that, if this was me and like I I had a nose job before we got together, and when you found out, you were pissed off, then I would feel insecure. I'd be like, okay, well, now I never want to show you pictures of what I used to look like. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to have this line of communication because you're making me feel like shit about it.
Right.
About a decision that I made for myself before I even knew you. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah, that guy, not a fan. Not a fan.
Yeah, that's a little extreme. I mean, I don't. If you, I'm sure it'll come up in conversation, like
Right.
when you're with somebody at some point in time. But I would never expect. I mean, okay, so I had an appendectomy before we met.
Right.
Is that date one material?
Right. Yeah. Like, by the way, you might see a little scar by my belly button. You know,
Right.
it's not relevant. It's not necessary. To be mad about something that someone did before you were even in the picture, that's not cool.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
not
just
cool.
dude's a douche.
Dude is a big douche.
Even just trying to think of things that would have happened outside of our relationship that I would be pissed about. And I'm just not really coming up with it. I mean, okay, maybe like if you were running from the law.
Right.
Or something like that. Now, the one that's actually serious, kids.
Right.
Don't come into a relationship with me and not tell me that you have kids.
Oh, okay. I was thinking if you're gonna have kids with someone who you didn't know had plastic surgery.
No. I'm saying I'm thinking of things that what wouldn't you have told me when we started our
right.
relationship
Yeah.
that would be a deal breaker for
Right.
me, like make me feel betrayed and kids.
Yeah. Well, okay, now that I brought it up, that's an interesting point, though, because I did say I don't think you ever need to tell if you had plastic surgery, but maybe if you're going to have kids, because especially if it's something noticeable like the nose right away, and it doesn't look like either of your noses, then you're having a conversation.
Well, you usually have DNA. I mean,
I know, but still, right off the bat, I mean, that's something.
Nah.
It's noticeable. It's noticeable. It makes me think of Friends. Because Jennifer Aniston had a nose job, like, in real life before she was on Friends. And then when she was on Friends, they, like, made it a running joke with Rachel having had a nose job. And then in the later seasons, when she has her kid and her mean sister is like, do you ever get scared that she's going to get your real nose? And she's like, I do. I really do.
I can see that.
So that might be a reason why you might have to tell them. Because it is aesthetics.
Yeah, but I
genetic.
mean, would you feel betrayed though? I mean,
No.
that's
no,
the thing.
I wouldn't feel betrayed. I'm just saying.
Right.
I said earlier that I don't think you ever have to bring it up, but maybe you do. Maybe.
Yeah.
That might be one situation.
Fair enough.
Then you've got during the relationship getting plastic surgery. So you'd think that if you're in a relationship with someone, you would tell them if you want to change your body. You wouldn't keep that from them.
You would hope.
You would hope. But here's another story I found. Again, I won't read you the whole thing. I'll give you the TLDR. Basically, boyfriend and girlfriend. Girlfriend said she's going on a cruise with her family. Like, she's going on vacation. She's actually getting a boob job. The only reason the boyfriend finds out is because one of their mutual friends was logged in to, I don't know which one, a social media on his iPad. And he opened it up and saw messages between them where the girlfriend was like, oh yeah, like, I got it done. I'm on painkillers. He won't even notice when I get back, blah, blah, blah. The only reason he found out that his girlfriend was getting a boob job is because he saw messages that she did not intend for him to see. And she just expected to come back, not say anything, and have him not realize that she got her boobs done. Like, come on. Come on. One, do you really think you're going to be able to hide that? And two, what the hell? Like, why wouldn't you tell him that? Why are you making this big lie about it?
Maybe it was a birthday present. Jump out of birthday cake. Surprise!
I got new titties!
There's always room for jiggles.
Oh, God, don't bring Cosby into this. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's just a golden example of you need to tell your partner if you're going to be making a big change like that. Because I know it's a joke, but that's not a birthday present. That's serious.
It's serious. Yeah, I would be interested to know like what the intent was. Meaning, like what was she trying to prove here? Or what was the end goal? Was she actually just trying to hide it? Was it supposed to be a surprise? Like, what was her mental thought? Like, as she was deciding that this is what she was going to do.
Right.
That's the only thing I can really think of.
Plus, there's the whole deception thing around it. Like, you're crafting this big, huge lie to hide something from someone.
Yeah.
Like, that's not right.
Yeah, I mean that's a long time to plan for something like
Right.
that. I mean,
exactly.
and it's expensive. So
It's
like,
expensive as hell.
I guess this, is the money thing, like
Mm-hmm.
with couples keeping their money separate and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, I'll say this: I don't know if I would be upset
Mm-hmm.
personally if this happened.
Mm-hmm.
I would be upset if I found out the way he did.
Right.
The like
That's the thing with all of these. It's like it always feels like there's something else happening
Yeah.
underneath the surface. That it's not just about the plastic surgery anymore.
Right. I mean, because this could have spun off. I mean, there's two things that instantly come to mind. All right, it's her trying to surprise her husband,
Mhm.
bring spice into the relationship.
Mhm.
Her intention was good. Or she's going to leave her husband and go with the boyfriend who's paying for this.
Right.
I don't think I would be upset.
Okay. All right. Okay, so even more about lying about plastic surgery. I found out about this whole different world that I didn't even realize existed, and it's called cosmetic infidelity. This kind of blew my mind. I mean, like, I feel like I knew it was probably going on, but the fact that it has a name and this whole, like, underground thing, I found it very intriguing. So, cosmetic infidelity is when people continually get plastic surgery without telling their partners that they're doing it. So, this is like more simple things like Botox, lip fillers, like facelifts, like the subtle nips and tucks type of things, right? And it feels like kind of a gray area to me. Like, I know I just came in strong with that whole, like, you can't get a boob job without telling your husband thing, but I don't know. Like, it's the little things. I think it kind of falls under like an insecurity thing. I kind of liken it to dyeing your hair. There are a lot of people who dye their hair, cover their grays, and they don't necessarily tell people that they do that. It's just something that they do to keep up a certain appearance that they like to have, right?
Sure.
It's like an insecurity blanket. Like, maybe I have crow's feet and I notice it and I don't want you to notice it. So I go and I get a little Botox and I don't mention it. I don't know, like, to me that stuff feels more safe. It feels more okay. It feels less like lying to me. I don't know. I know it's not, but it's like putting on makeup. Like, my face doesn't look like this. I wasn't born with black eyeliner winged up to my eyebrows. You just go along with it because that's what I do to make myself feel better. I don't know. This is a weird one for me. I don't like the lying necessarily, but I get it. I get why you would want to keep up a certain appearance and not want to talk about it because you might think it's embarrassing.
Yeah, this is tough.
Mm-hmm.
So just looking at what's here,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm understanding correctly,
Mm-hmm.
we are talking about the maintenance.
Yes.
So you are maintaining
Mm-hmm.
the presence that you had
When you were younger or when
Yes.
you were
right.
thinner or whatever.
So is it really changing your body?
Right. Exactly. Because it's plastic surgery.
Yeah.
It falls under the plastic surgery category. How is it any different than buying a box of Rogaine, dyeing your grays?
Give me like I know the cosmetic infidelity goes a lot deeper than this.
Yes.
So outside of Botox
Mhm.
and I don't even know what else. Like what are other examples?
Like a facelift.
Okay. Facelift, yeah.
Lip fillers.
Yeah.
Maybe this one's a little stretch for you. Maybe liposuction. Things that not something like a boob job, not something that's in your face, not
Okay.
something like a Brazilian butt lift.
Let's I think I have a line.
Okay.
If it has the chance to kill you, you should probably tell your significant other,
Okay.
surgery wise.
Right.
So, if you're going to get a facelift and there's a chance that you could die, you probably don't want to go get that facelift without anybody knowing.
Right. That surprise call when they call your emergency contact.
Right.
Okay. All right. I get that.
So I think for me, that would be the only thing that I would be upset about. Like if you were out, in this secret world of Botox that you love so much and you never told me about it and you died because of it,
Right.
then I would probably have problems. Like,
Probably be pissed off.
that would be very unresolved in my mind.
Right.
And I'm sure that that's not the way that you would have wanted to go.
Right.
So I guess that's really the only thing that I can think of.
Okay.
That outside of like the financial repercussions, like if
Yeah.
you were it with somebody who's an extremist like myself, maybe a little more so, I could see that having an impact on the relationship just from a financial perspective, because
Right.
that could get rather expensive.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about changes that one makes without consulting their partner, or should they, and whatnot. What about when your partner wants to change something about you, or wants you to change something about yourself? Because that's a whole other type of situation, right?
Can you want me to have a mechanical arm?
Why?
Because my elbow hurts.
So like what do you do when your partner wants you to change something about yourself? Like I see this a lot, women who have babies. Your body changes, right? It's just natural. You get pregnant, your body changes. There's this type of surgery that I don't know if you're aware of. It's called a mommy makeover. So basically what that is, they, give you like a tummy tuck, they lift things that maybe sagged, maybe your front, your butt. They basically just redo everything that got stretched out. A lot of women choose to have it, but I'm seeing now that it's become a more popular thing, a lot of men wanting their wives to have it after they have children. Is that okay? Because look, I'm going to say, because I at first when I heard about this, I was like, fuck these men, that's ridiculous. And it is ridiculous on one hand. She had a child. She bore your seed. She shat that kid out for you, and now you're going to tell her that you don't like the way she looks and she should change it. But on the other hand, aesthetics are important. I'm trying to get in both mindsets, and I'm not doing a great job of it, because really I just want to say fuck all men.
So here's how I would approach this. I don't think it should be expected.
Right.
I think, and this, it's going to sound bad the way I say it.
Okay.
I think it should be offered as an option,
Okay.
but I think it's something that should be spoken of in a mutual setting,
Right.
not in a, I want you to have this done.
Right.
It's more of a, I could see this having a lot of hidden implications.
Yeah.
So, meaning the wife doesn't want to admit that she wants this done because she should feel comfortable with her body.
Okay.
The-
Yeah. I get you.
The husband, yeah, of course I want my wife to look tight and, perky like she did on day one.
Right.
So they both have things that they want, but coming together and having that conversation in a mutual setting is probably very important. And that's twofold. One, to say, I don't care if you do or don't, but if you want to, it's there. And to also open the door for the female who just went through hell spitting out a watermelon. And yeah, that takes a toll. That's horrible for her that she has to deal with the aftermath of that. But she's also dealing with a lot of other emotional stress.
Right.
So adding that on top of it is just another layer of crap. She may not feel comfortable saying that. So I really feel like this is a conversation that should be had in a careful, planned setting that is mutual and not a forceful attack. It's an optional, hey, I'm fine with you the way you are, but if you would like to do this, because me personally, being a man, if I would go through that process and I had all the aftermath to deal with, I would probably want to do something about that.
Right.
Just thinking about it out loud. I think that's the way to handle it. Point blank.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you make a really good point, because as you were talking, I'm thinking, like, flip the script, right? When it comes to an insecurity, like, if you couldn't get it up, penile implants are possible. They're a thing. You might not want to say that. You might be too insecure. You might be too, like, into your manhood. Like, no, I can do it. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Whereas I'm okay with it. I love you. It's not about how hard or soft your dick is. But, like, it would be cool if you could put a pump in your balls to get this thing going. You know what I mean?
The pump doesn't go in your balls.
No, it does. You squeeze your balls. I swear to God.
Oh, you mean, I thought you were talking about pumping up the balls.
Like two balloons.
My,
Okay.
Proceed.
Okay. Yeah. So no, I think that's a good take on it, because I really like I so want to be like, you're gross, you're a misogynist, fuck you. Like, but You do have to and I'm sure, I guarantee there are people out there who don't have good intentions behind when they do this kind of stuff.
Of course.
But you do have to think about it in a certain way. You know, that's part of being a partner, is realizing when the other person might want something or need something and not know how to communicate it themselves, and drawing the line between, or towing the line between, I know that this is what you want, I'm going to offer it, and try not to make it seem like this is just because I want it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, me and you have had that conversation before. I don't remember what it was, but I know that I have told you things that a man probably shouldn't tell a woman, but it's not. I just know both sides of the fence, and I know that there's things that I didn't want to say in my past, that I think it would have been good to have the option openly to do certain things.
Right.
So you know me, I'm a professional foot and mouther.
Yes.
So when I approach these situations, it normally takes me 5 minutes to get to the actual point, because I try to tread so lightly.
Right. I think it's okay to want or desire, I suppose, a certain aesthetic out of your partner. I think it can go way too far, though, even with something very simple. And I'm going to give you a little story. This is from my real life, okay?
Wait.
What?
Did you get a nose job before we were married?
You think I would get a nose job and get one that looks like this? Are you kidding me?
It could have been botched.
Okay. Fuck you. Okay, so someone that I knew growing up, like I was a kid, this person was an adult. This man, he was very, very into Fran Drescher. Like the nanny, you know the nanny? That was his celebrity crush. He was obsessed with her, like hall pass, Fran Drescher. And he always wanted his wife to, she's blonde, like a little heavier. He always wanted her to get stick thin and dye her hair jet black and wear it really big, because he wanted her to look like Fran Drescher. And he would like tell her that, like she was going to get her hair done. Like, are you going to go black this time? Are you finally going to do it? He would push her on it, and she never wanted to do it. They ended up getting divorced. I'm sure it wasn't because of that, but they ended up getting divorced. And like a year later...
No, it was because your mom started talking like Fran Drescher.
Well, you just blew my story about who this was about.
Damn it.
So anyway, a year later...
Oops.
He gets remarried to a woman who looks like an off-brand trailer park white trash Fran Drescher. Has the aesthetic. Skinny, big black hair. Like, that was clearly all he wanted. That's all that mattered to him, was just what his partner looked like. And he is not happily married, I will tell you that right now. It did not work in his favor. So he got his comeuppance for that one. But that's how you know that he did not have good intentions behind. And it wasn't just a, hey, you know, like, you know, I have a crush on this lady. It would put on a black wig. Let's have some fun tonight. No, it went way beyond that. So you got to watch out for those.
There's a big business in role playing.
There is.
So I guess where I'm failing to see the difference here in what this said person was requesting, and a generalized like dress up like a nurse, or you know, a sexy nurse, or I hate saying schoolgirl outfit, but
yes, that's
one of the popular ones. So
what's the difference?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like why is this so different than
because
normal, like, I want you to dress up like an anime character?
The difference is that's all he was looking for. Nothing else mattered. It didn't matter who the person was. It didn't matter what they were into, like what they were like, what their common interests were. None of that mattered. All that mattered to him was the aesthetic. He wanted this certain look, and he got it. And
paid the price.
That's what she looked like, but there's nothing else there. You know what I mean? That's the difference. You want me to dress up like a sexy nurse. Cool, great, I'll do that. You want me to dress up like a sexy nurse every day for the rest of my life? No. That's the difference.
Right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay, so on to my last point, and this is the one that I thought was going to be like the grittiest. I thought there was going to be so many issues. I thought there was going to be just a shit show with this one. Turns out it's actually like probably the healthiest of all of the other topics we've talked about before. And that is extreme body modification. When I say that, I mean like Ripley's Believe It or Not, like tongue splitting to be a lizard, tattooing your entire body, trying to break the world record for number of piercings, medical implants. You know what I'm talking about, like the crazy, crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, people who do this kind of stuff, they have really healthy relationships. Because you don't find people on Reddit threads asking if they should divorce their wife over clit piercings like they do with haircuts. Who would have thunk it? I think that these extreme body modifications bring people together more than they tear them apart. It's a common interest at a certain point.
Yeah, I didn't. I was looking down this path as well, and I did not find what I was looking for.
Right.
I was looking for the couple that got together, got married, and one just wants to be a lizard or be a doll
Out of nowhere.
or an anime character.
Right.
And I mean, you see these people do this all the time, turning into a cat, you know, a freaking beast, an animal. You see this shit all the time. And I did not find one story. I'm sure that they're out there.
I'm sure, yes.
I just don't have access to the dark web. Okay. But no, I feel you. It's kind of odd because it makes you wonder if you are this type of person, are you always this type of person?
I think maybe so. If you are someone who is either prone to this type of body modification or prone to being attracted by it, you probably attract those people anyway, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm not saying that this is necessarily a kink thing. I think there could be an overlap though, right? Like when you're talking extreme body modification, that's different from the norm, which is essentially what a kink is. And there is a lot of acceptance, open-mindedness in the kink community. I feel like there's some kind of overlap there. Something in my brain tells me that that has a correlation somehow. But I just think that if maybe like it's a hobby, like if you like to go mountain hiking, you're probably gonna attract friends and loved ones who like to go hiking, right?
Or if not, you're going to be alone.
Right. If you like getting tattooed and getting pierced and getting medical implants and all those sorts of things, you're probably going to find a community of people who are like-minded and find love in that community, right?
Absolutely.
That makes sense to me, and I think it can bring people together, like the couple with the gauged nose rings who tie a hoodie string in between them to tie their faces together to show their love.
I'm not going to knock it because I haven't tried it. But I can't say that I wouldn't watch that walking down the street.
You don't want to be tied by your nostrils to me?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't even want to hold hands. Like my hands get hot. Had to clarify that.
Yes.
Don't touch me. No, I think you're right, because these types of folks have come to terms with different and openness and the ability to understand things that your very conservative person might not. So I feel like when you have this mentality, you just don't really care.
Right.
You just don't. Like you are going to be yourself to the fullest extent. And you are not going to hide or sugarcoat a thing. So if that is the door to happiness, if you will, I'm not going to say that that's wrong.
Yeah.
I think that that's actually really awesome.
Yeah.
That and I guess that could even go farther. Like maybe, they do have problems. Like not any classification of human doesn't have these problems.
Right.
It just doesn't exist. So maybe even in their openness and their understanding of looking at the world in a different light, maybe they're just more accepting of failure as well. And once there's something wrong, my nose ring doesn't match the color of yours anymore. I guess it's time to find a new nose ring.
Right.
I don't know. Like, it sounds refreshing to me.
All right. Well, considering that I was expecting a sort of like Maury Povich type of situation when going into this, and maybe that just goes to show how judgmental I am and I need to be more open-minded. But I thought maybe I would look into whether or not body modifications can affect sex lives. Like, I was looking for something. I was grasping at straws here, trying to find some sort of drama to bring into this situation. In doing that, I stumbled upon, oh gosh, I'm going to butcher his name, but Rolf Buchholz?
We're just going to leave it at Rolf.
Rolf. Rolf is the world's most modified man, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. You can Google him, you can see him. He has 516 body modifications. That includes 481 piercings. 278 of those piercings are on his genitals. He has medical grade silicone implants that make it look like he has horns. He has other implants around his body. He has a split tongue, a split penis. I do not know what that means. I am too afraid to Google it. I don't want to know.
2 for 1.
He has he has tattooed eyeballs, and he has magnetic subdermal implants in his fingertips. I thought that if anybody was going to have issues getting it up, it would be a guy with 278 dick rings, right?
That's a lot of weight.
That's a lot. And he's 60-something years old, too. So that just, it felt like a double whammy. Look, no judgment to Rolf.
No, I'm just thinking weightlifting with his dick.
He does suspend by his piercings, so,
Oh my God. I have never heard of a coccular dexterity. Yes, coccular dexterity. That's it. I just found it in the dictionary. Dictionary. You see what I did there? Yeah.
Well, anyway, him and his 278 dick rings and his split penis. I'm definitely ending up on some sort of weird FBI list for Googling this, but apparently Rolf has a girlfriend and a very normal sex life. He says it works perfectly fine, and that if the piercings ever interfered with, his ability to get it on, he would have just taken them out. So it works. I think that these people who get these extreme body modifications are probably much healthier mentally and physically than the rest of us, because this guy, he knows what he likes, and he gets laid. So what more can you ask for, right?
I have questions.
Okay.
Yes. Many questions.
Okay.
But I'm just very curious what the inventory system looks like.
The inventory system.
Yes. Do we take inventory of how many of these metal things are dangling from the dick before we have intercourse and ensure that what went in came out?
Yeah. Like, do you remember that episode of Grey's Anatomy where the couple had to go into the ER because his dick ring got stuck on her IUD?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, I'm buying a metal detector.
Yeah, how does that work at TSA?
That was my next point, actually. It's like, could you imagine being stopped going through airport security because of a rogue dick post?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
In your jans. But yeah, definitely. I'm just thinking of a game show. Like every time, like after sex, you gotta like wand yourself. Ding, 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 ding. We lost one.
You gotta...
Now how do we get it out?
You gotta pee to prevent a UTI. You got a wand to prevent a rogue dick ring.
All right. Question number 2.
Okay.
Split penis.
I don't know. I don't want to know. Nope.
2 birds, 1 stone? Or no. It's 1 bird, 2 stones in this case. The one bird has 2 caves, though.
This is getting... All I can think about was my human sexuality class in college where I had to circumcise a hot dog, and what? Nope, I'm good. No, I'm good. Rolf, I wish you all the best.
Well, folks.
Don't tell me more.
I hope it was worth the wait.
All right, so I think we learned a lot here. We learned that a haircut is more serious than medical grade implants in your forehead. We learned that John is scared of vampires.
I'm not afraid of vampires. I'm afraid of confronting them face to face.
Oh gosh. Well, guys, if you have any input on this topic, if you've ever had a change of your body or your partner's affect your relationship, if you have a bunch of dick rings, we want to hear about it. So hit us up on our socials.
I don't want to hear about it.
Well, I do. It's okay. John doesn't run the socials. Hit me up at On Thick Ice Pod on Instagram. Slide into my DMs. Let me know.
On Thick Ice is created, hosted, and produced by Emily and John Shacklet.
To join the conversation, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at On Thick Ice Pod. Email us at onthickIcepod@gmail.com or call our hotline 415-494-7275. Subscribe to On Thick Ice wherever you get your podcasts.